Hi Cancer, this is Tisch Aitken, and this is your monthly report for the month of February. We are in a whole different era now. We completed the age of Capricorn, and that was collapsing of old structures and paradigms in many areas of our lives. And the signs most impacted were the cardinal signs: Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. The ones most hit probably were Capricorn, and secondly your sign, because you're the opposite sign. And also for you, the eclipses were in the Capricorn Cancer axis starting in the summer of 2018 until the summer of 2020. And the North Node of Destiny was transiting in your sign from the fall of 2018 until the May of 2020. So a lot of growth, a lot of restructuring in your house of partnerships and relationships, because that's where Saturn and Pluto met up last year. Now you're in a cycle of death and rebirth in many ways, because some of the themes that you dealt with in 2020, you were saying goodbye to certain things. And you're also in a very regenerative time, because Saturn and Aquarius met up on the winter solstice at 0 degrees and 29 minutes of the fixed air sign of Aquarius, which embodies community, connection, enlightenment, brilliance, and innovation and inventiveness, among other things. And for you, it's in the house of transcendence and dealing with joint resources and money, but also inner healing work, because this has been a very challenging sign and you've gone through a lot of endings and a lot of changes in the last few years. So at the end of January, on the 30th, Mercury stations retrograde at 26 degrees and 29 minutes of Aquarius. And this gives you a preview of what the next couple of years are going to be like, because Saturn is going to be transiting in Aquarius until March 7th of 2023 in your house of death and rebirth. There may be letting go and release and things you haven't dealt with yet, which Saturn will dig up in the next couple of years. It's a very psychological transit, but it's also very good for empowerment and for structuring new support in your life in the next couple of years. And Jupiter, the grand benefic, is going to be transiting in Aquarius on and off until December 29th. And Jupiter in your house of money and healing work is also helpful in this time. So pay attention with Mercury retrograding on January 30th at 26 degrees and 29 minutes of Aquarius, because that's close to the entire cycle of Saturn in Aquarius, minus a few weeks. It'll be there up until February of 2023, where Mercury's retrograding. So it's almost the entire transit of Saturn in Aquarius. So pay attention to what comes up for you, whether they're old memories about buried wounds that you haven't dealt with a long time ago, whether it's issues around money that you need to deal with, whatever the story is. Now, Venus enters the sign of Aquarius on February 1st, and it'll transit there until February 25th. It's very social and gregarious in the sign of Aquarius, and it's good for it's good for networking with others if there are ways you need to make money right now. On the 1st of February, the sun is squaring Mars in the sky, so that can be a bit challenging. On the 6th of February, Venus meets up with Saturn, and that's challenging and restrictive. It's going to sextile Chiron, the wounded healer, and that can be helpful, but later in the day it's going to square Uranus in the sky, and that can be chaotic and stressful around relationships and partnerships. It can be difficult around financial relationships with you too. So that's a day to kind of lay low. On the 9th of February, Saturn is forming a sextile to Chiron, the wounded healer. And that's really helpful around doing healing work and dealing with financial healing and all of those themes. So that will be helpful for you. On the 11th of February, we have a really nice new moon that takes place at 2:06 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at 23 degrees and 17 minutes of Aquarius. This falls in your house of joint resources and money and soulmates. If you're single, this could maybe bring an intimate partnership. It's great for doing healing work and intentions around money. Just definitely good for magnetizing what you want and for finding your power. And Venus and Jupiter, which are the two benefics of the zodiac, meet up at 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and that's really prosperous and romantic energy. And Venus is also going to be conjunct Mercury, which is good around communication. Saturn and Jupiter are still conjunct, which is structuring the vision of what you want to manifest. Do the law of abundance, set intentions. Really nice energy. Excellent for this Aquarian era to see how we can really launch new inventions and new things in our lives. On the 12th of February or the 13th, depending on where you live, Venus is meeting up with Mercury, which is very kind and creative and loving energy. And it takes place at 9:48 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on February 12th, or at 2:48 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on February 13th. Excellent for communication and networking and love. And then on the day of love, on Valentine's Day, Mercury is meeting up with Jupiter. Good for positive communication, good for a lot of healing and love in your house of intimacy and soulmates and sexuality. So that's very nice. On the 17th of February, we're having a difficult energy because Saturn is squaring Uranus in the sky, and those are the two rulers of Aquarius. Saturn rules Aquarius in ancient astrology, and Uranus rules Aquarius and astrology, but it rules Aquarius in modern astrology. And Saturn is limitations, and Uranus is boundless chaos and inventiveness. So they don't work well together. They're not harmonious. And the last time the two squared one another was in June of 1999 through May of 2000. So it doesn't happen that frequently, and they're going to square each other two more times this year in June and December. So that's chaotic for all of us. On the 18th of February, the sun is going to enter the sign of Pisces in your house of higher learning and manifesting and teaching and publishing and promotion and publicity. And it'll be there until March 21st. This is excellent to promote yourself, for manifesting work, and it's a really nice energy. On the 20th of February, Mercury is stationing direct at 11 degrees and 1 minute of Aquarius in your 8th house of financial partnerships, intimacy, and healing. And this is a nice energy too. And so it's good for moving ahead and figuring out what the Saturn in Aquarius story is going to be for you. On the 25th of February, Venus enters the sign of Pisces, where it'll transit for a few weeks in your house of promotion. Again, excellent for promoting yourself. If you're manifesting, you've got Venus and the Sun transiting in that house. Good for teaching and learning and just a positive energy. Venus will be trining your Sun, and it's a fellow water sign. It's exalted there. Very creative and very romantic. On the 26th of February, if I can speak, Jupiter is going to trine the north node of destiny. And that's really good for networking and making connections and fated opportunities coming into your life. On the 27th of February, we conclude the month with a full moon that takes place at 3:17 a.m. Eastern Standard Time at 8 degrees and 57 minutes of Virgo. This falls in your house of local community and siblings, and also centered around teaching and learning and communication. Maybe you find out some news about something you've been working on. Maybe there's a completion to a project. It will be an emotional full moon because it's setting off where the lunar eclipse occurred on November 30th at 8 degrees and 38 minutes of the mutable air sign of Gemini. And this took place in your 12th house of spirituality and endings. So it could be very emotional. The moon rules your sign. There's a very unpredictable tone to where we're all in right now. We're newly in an age which is very a lot of twists and turns and very unpredictable. So we all have to go with it. It's going to be very exciting, but we're newly in a very different energy and era. So I wish you a lot of luck, Cancer. The eclipses are no longer in your sign. Saturn is no longer opposing your sun. So it's going to be a lot easier, and I think it's a time for do healing work and empowering yourself. So I wish you much luck. Thank you.